There we ready. For your mic either.
I'd like to call to order tonight's study session of February 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Potato,
Here.
Bowman. Here. Brown.
Here.
Cole,
Here.
Alfers,
Here.
Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Stewart has called in. He is not here.
Here.
Oh, there he is. You're too big. I didn't see you. Mr. Stewart is here. All right. Moving on, business on study session number 1 is council vacancy. I call on City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For you tonight, you have one item on your agenda, and that is to conduct interviews for the vacant council seat. So as a little bit of a reminder, under state law, the city council must fill vacant seats within 90 days of them becoming vacant. Your council rules outline the appointment process, which includes an application, an interview, nominations, and appointment. 9 applications were received by the city prior to the deadline, which was February 1st. 3 were disqualified due to them either missing information or not following the application rules. Prior to this meeting starting tonight, the order of oral interviews was established by a random draw. This process was observed by the applicants. Each applicant will be responding to the following questions. Why do you want to serve on the city council? What experiences, talents, or skills do you bring to the council and community that you'd like to highlight? And third, what do you wish to accomplish if appointed to the Sumner City Council? Each applicant was provided the interview questions in advance and will have 5 minutes to respond to these questions. The timer on the lectern will count down the 5 minutes for the applicant. After the applicant is done providing a response, council may ask clarifying questions. And per your rules, each applicant is limited to 3 minutes to respond to any and all follow-up questions. It's important to note that the point of a clarifying question is really to clarify an applicant's response, not necessarily ask a new question. We wouldn't have the time to do that in the 3 minutes that are listed in your rules. Any questions about the process before I turn it over to you, Mayor, for the first interview?
All right, any questions?
Per question.
It's 5 minutes for all 3 questions.
Anybody else? No? All right,
Okay, we'll have the clerk get the first applicant. I believe the clerk handed out the list of
Yes.
candidates in the order that they are. Just for the viewing public, it'll be Donna Maynard, Christopher Pierce, Greg Ranke, Pat Clergett, William Moody, and then Nick Bierman.
all right. Okay, and I am going to call for Donna Maynard. And the clerk went to get her, I believe. Welcome.
Hello. My name is Donna Maynard. I've lived in Sumner for about almost 4 years now. I came from Maple Valley, was a really small town that got too big for its britches and got a little crowded. We had our best friends that lived here, so we decided to move here to be closer to them and just fell in love with the small town. My vision for the city is a community that we make sure that we keep its small town charm. And as we navigate through the expansion and growth, it's obviously gonna have to happen, but I love that our little downtown area is so cute and quaint. And I would love for it to see that get like, not bigger, but maybe add some more stuff to it and maybe have some more events down there like the wine walk last weekend. It was a lot of fun. My strengths to bring to the city council would be that I've worked with the public for years in the service industry. So I'm used to talking to people and being around people and I'm a good listener. So I think that could help. Some of my priorities are crime prevention. I feel like our citizens need to feel safe when they go to the grocery store or to our parks for a walk. I feel like we do have a little bit of a problem with some of that, some people complaining about the safety at, when you go to Fred Meyer or whatever. Some of the ways I would solve that, for example, would be talking and working with the police, and they're the ones who are out there in the day-to-day and they see what's going on. I mean, they can maybe give us some insight on what we can do, possibly hire more police officers if needed. I also feel like we need to work on our roads. We're adding all these apartments and all these more cars are gonna be coming and going through our town, and I feel like our roads are kind of beat up and dangerous in some areas. They could use a lot of work, and it would make the flow of traffic better, and it would make it easier to get around for people. Our downtown area, like I said before, is great. It's perfect. And I just want to make sure that we keep it that way. Maybe a few restaurants we could add in, or maybe a few more stores that will keep our citizens coming here to spend their money to help our community get better, instead of going to Enumclaw for say, or, Tacoma or something. Like, I think we have the potential to bring people here and keep them here. So, that's all I got.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Nope. Nope. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Christopher Pierce.
Hi.
Hi.
Should I just start?
Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right, my name's Chris Pierce. My family's been in Sumner for about 6 years. When I considered whether or not I wanted to apply for this open position, I considered pretty much the same list of questions that you've asked me to address today. So I don't have lengthy responses. Most of what I wanted to say, I put in my application and in my resume. And so I'll keep it brief, but as I've thought about why this would be a way that I would want to spend my time, I learned from somebody that complainers are sometimes the people that you want to give the opportunity to change things. And I don't complain about the city of Sumner. I just have lots of opinions. And as I've been in the city, and for the reasons we specifically came to the city of Sumner from Puyallup, and as we looked at where we wanted to live, we really like the city of Sumner. We like the way the city has been built by people like you on the city council and the mayor. And it's a very unique place to live. And we would like to, my wife and I, who obviously would be supporting me in this, would like to see Sumner stay very much the way it is. We watch a lot of the council meetings, and I've read through years of minutes, and I feel like a lot of my values and my ideas and the things that I have opinions on are largely in line with what the council has been doing. I think we all recognize the challenges that our surrounding communities have as it relates to unmanaged growth or mismanaged growth, budget issues, drugs, crime, rising crime, which we're as great as our police department is here, rising crime is still something that we obviously need to adapt to. But being able to support that, and I've been in contact with Chief Moricki, who has told me exactly what I hope to hear, is that he feels supported by the council, has the resources and the funding that he needs to be able to meet the expectations of our community. I was quite pleased to hear that, and why I want to serve on the councils, because I would like to continue supporting him in that way. As far as experiences in my life that I have that might have prepared me to serve on the council, I've never been in an elected office, but I have been in the public realm in my construction. I've managed over $100 million worth of construction, public funds, building roads and infrastructure. And I feel like a lot of those experiences are highlighted in my resume and in the questions that I've answered. So I won't get into them here, but between that and just a life of caring about my community and wanting to be involved, I found that those experiences, I feel, will help me bring kind of an everyman guy from the neighborhood opinion to the council, which, like I said, as I've read through the council minutes and watched remotely and attended when I can, I feel like that's in line with what the council already has. As far as what I'd like to accomplish in my last minute here, I feel like I'm not as experienced as you are, but I feel like there's alternate funding sources that are available out there for getting projects off the ground. And I'm willing to put the work into finding those sources and procuring those funds. Also having an idea of what it takes to develop and how the impacts on developments have in our city. I'd like to make sure developers are paying their fair share as they profit off the company or off of the business that they're doing in our city. And then promoting the right kind of development. I love the way the city has a residential area and a commercial area and a downtown area. I think it's promoting and attracting the right kind of businesses in the right places in our city is important, and obviously a hot button issue for our community. I've been the public relations face of many of all of these projects that I've been on, where we're ripping up roads, putting in infrastructure. I've been to plenty of community meetings where I've been the face of the company that I work for. And I think that I've learned a lot from that. So I see I'm out of time. Take it down to the last second. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions? No?
All right.
Thank you. Now I call on Greg Renke.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to this tonight. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. My name is Greg Renke. And why do you want to serve on the Sumner City Council? I basically want to serve on the Sumner City Council to help guide and shape the future and growth of the community in the city. I also would like to continue many great things the city has to offer that makes a great place for people to live here in this city. Now, I've lived here for 42 years. Actually, I lived right upstairs here for 2.5 years as a fire resident in 1982. So I've been in Sumner since 82. After that, I did move out and I bought a house at Cherry and Thompson for 20 years. And I'm currently 20 years at Bonnie and Academy. I raised 3 children in this town. They all went through the Sumner School District, went to college, all got good jobs, families. It was a great town to raise them in. This was and still is a great city to raise families and live in. Many of the things I did in the day with my kids, I'm doing today with my grandkids, which has been, 30+ years. And that's one thing I love about this town. All the different things. So my grandkids come over and the first thing they want to do is go to Loyalty Park. So we go to Loyalty Park. The next thing we do is we got to go to the train station. They like trains, love trains. And of course, on the way home, we got to stop at Dairy Trees and get an ice cream cone. parents aren't always happy with that, but that's okay. And these are just a few of the things that make Sumner and the community such a great place. As a council member, I would like to continue these and along with so many other things that are in this city that make it a great place to live and raise a family. The next question is experiences, talents, and skills. I did work for the city for 20 years as a firefighter till the merger with East Pierce, and I did another 12 years there. So I did about 32, 33 years in the fire service. I dealt with many different mayors, city councils, city managers, human resource directors, fire commissioners, fire chiefs. I have experience in budgeting, labor relations, labor negotiations, and been in public service relations with the community. Things that I've done in this community is Easter egg hunts, ice cream booths, coats for kids. I've done the parades. As many of you were on the parade this year, I drove the Kenworth, even though I've been retired for 4 years. I still do that and still active and involved. I've been retired now 4 years, so I've had time commitment to the city that is necessary for meetings, day or night. Whatever is asked of me, I'll be able to do. And any other events or appearances that would be required as a city council member. One of the accomplishments I'd like to do is I'm appointed, and I'm a firm believer in leaving things better than when I got them. So I would like to spend my time on the council, trying to make the community a better place. Not that it isn't, but it is a good place, and it's a very good place to live and raise families. Let's see. As the demand for services increases, so must the provision of those services increase. Whether it's traffic control, public safety, parks and open spaces, these things must be evaluated on an ongoing basis and increase as necessary. I really don't have an agenda, hidden or otherwise. I don't have an axe to grind with anybody or the city. I just want to help out where I can. I've done community service for the last 30+ years in this town. I've done a lot of things. I would like to give back for the things that they have given me. And just really fell in love with this city, and I've really enjoyed living here. This is a great town, a great place, has a lot to offer, and I think I have a lot to offer the community, and would love to be on the city council to make some of that happen. And looking forward to working with some of you people, and I think that's it. I got like 20 seconds, so did all right.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Any
for him?
questions from you guys?
Any questions? No. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I call on Pat Clergett.
Anyone? Right.
Right there, front and center.
Hello. My name is Pat Clergett. Question one, being retired, I have more time to give back to the community. I was raised here. I raised my family here, and my son is raising his son here. So I kind of like to maybe have a little input. And then number two, over 30 years in public works, I feel I have a pretty good insight on how much energy, time, costs, commitment it takes from city and the city staff. And then so when council makes a decision, I kind of got, I was always at the bottom end. Now I can kind of see where it comes from. So I'd like to do that. And three. So just to be a little bit part of keeping the city heading in the direction to be a well-diversified, progressive community, to raise a family where you shop and work and to play in. That's about it. And I'm nervous, you can tell.
You?
I haven't done this. I usually get, like I say, I'm on the other end of this, so this is new to me.
Thank you. Any questions for him? Nope. 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 Any
Well, I
questions?
have one.
Okay.
So what? So in your previous job, with the city, did you work with budgets and?
Yes.
And all the managing of the shop staff?
Yeah, so I was in charge of the sewer, streets, storm, equipment, and some of the, and at one time I was even parks at one time. But I had the budget that I had to stay within, and then I did all the hiring and with HR, hiring and firing and discipline. And did all the record keeping and timesheets and the whole bit to run it. Yep.
And how many people are in did
Oh,
manager?
when I first started, there was 6, and I think when I left, we were up about to 20 with the mechanics, and I don't know what's there now, and in the summer help, 24 that I managed at one time.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Call on William Moody. Welcome.
Thank you. My name's William Moody. I go by Bill. And I know some of you on the council from other facets of my life. I've lived here in the Sumner area for some 40+ years. We first moved here when our son was little, and both of our sons graduated from Sumner High School. And one of the things I want to do is I want to give back to the community in terms of what we've received from the community, which is to say, quality education for employees, a wonderful place to live. I remember when it was just daffodils everywhere. And and the quality of life that we have experienced is such that I want to be able to help replicate that again, to create an environment that is enjoyable and desirable, a desirable place to live and grow your family. I have been a teacher. I taught physics and mathematics at Federal Way High School. I went into business and I set up and operated 4 offices in that business, and led a number of community projects and served on several church councils here in the area. And one of the things that is, I think, imperative is to create an opportunity for people to have a good, solid career opportunity in the city, so that we have good quality businesses growing in the city, and so that we can encourage more people to utilize our city as a place from which they would love to be and grow. Some of the more important items on this list that I have taken a look at was road improvement is one that I assume the traffic committee is considering. The traffic flows that will be impacted by the increasing population. I live over on the east side of the city, and as you know, there are many, many apartments going up there. And that's going to impact not only that area, but also the city itself. And so road improvement, traffic patterns, and those kinds of things are important, that we need to be able to create such a diverse population that this city has a good transportation system to help that diversity grow. So in the time that I have lived here, some of the things that we have done is we have started a preschool. We have served on church councils. We, meaning my wife and I, started the preschool. I have served on church councils and taught, as I mentioned before. And those aspects of my life, I think, reflect how I could communicate with the public, create relationships with the public and with business owners, so that everyone can move their business, their life, their family, and their joy forward in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Oh, any questions? No? Thank you.
Right, thank you.
I call on Nick Bierman, our last candidate. Welcome.
Thank you. So why do I want to be on the city council? The main reason why I have been interested in serving the city council is to be an advocate for the community, be an advocate for residents, and represent the concerns that I've heard. In the last few months, just since September, I've talked to many more residents and citizens of Sumner than I had met in the previous few months, in the previous year and a half that I lived here. So I've heard a lot of the things that they've expressed to me, and a lot of their concerns about the direction of the community, a lot of things that they've said about decisions being made along the process and about feeling left out of the process. And that has inspired me to think more about being an advocate for these people and the concerns that I've heard from. So I want to take a lot of the experience that I've gained over the last few months and put that into action. So that's one main reason why I wanted to apply for city council for this open vacant position. And then some of the experiences and talents that I could bring. One is just the strength of having talked to people out on the street and heard from them, heard what they have to say, and listening is a strong point of mine. So I feel like I'm an excellent listener. I feel like I take the time to hear what people are talking about, what they're expressing, and listening to their concerns. And then I feel like I'm also very analytical, so I can take their concerns and figure out ways of putting their what they've expressed to me into action. So how can I take different things that I've heard, different input from different citizens, and maybe make a plan that we can work together to accomplish the goals that some people have expressed to me, or to resolve the concerns that they've expressed. So that's some of the strengths that I bring. And then just in terms of what I would look to accomplish, one of the main things that has become a particular focus of mine in the last few months is preserving the history and promoting tourism here in Sumner. When you think about the plan for the future and what will happen in the next 20 or 30 years, for example, in terms of growth, in terms of population, population increase and also this push toward increasing suburbanization. How does Sumner manage that and deal with that? The pressures that we will all face as a community. At the same time, how can we preserve our history and not lose the charming aspects that keep Sumner a unique place and a beautiful town to live in? If we're not careful, it's really easy to lose a lot of the particular aspects of the charm of downtown and turn it into another suburb. But if we can manage the growth and plan and keep in mind the past as we look to the future, then as we do that, we can keep the historic feel, the charm, the welcoming aspects of downtown Sumner, things that people want to see when they come to downtown Sumner, and keep those in place as we continue to grow and as we have more and more people living here and working here. And we can work toward having this vibrant, thriving community for businesses, tourism, residents, visitors, and we can keep Sumner historic and charming at the same time as it is thriving and growing. So we don't have to pick and choose either or, we can do both. So that's the main reasons.
Any questions for him? No, no. No questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to call on Jason Wilson to give our city administrator report.
Before I move on to my report, I just want to kind of summarize the next steps going forward. At next week's regular council meeting, council will conduct nominations for the vacant seat. Each council member may make one nomination and it doesn't require a second. And the nominations are going to be closed by a motion, a second, and a majority vote of council. Prior to appointment voting, the public will have the opportunity to provide input on the nominees. And per your rules, those public comments are limited to 2 minutes each. Later tonight, in accordance with state law, council will hold an executive session to discuss the qualifications of the applicants. Should be noted, there will be no voting or straw polls during the executive session, and there will be no action to follow. Happy to answer any questions regarding the council vacancy appointment process.
Anybody have any questions for him? Nope, we do not.
Next, I have no city administrator reports, so I'll turn it back over to you for calendaring.
All right. Do we have any council meeting agenda changes? Anything that we need to schedule? And how about committee meeting? Any committee meeting issues?
The Community Development Committee has been rescheduled from the 28th to the 29th. Yes.
Okay, CD has been rescheduled to the 29th. If you're on that committee.
Yep.
Thank you. And I am going to we're going to go into executive session, and that should last for about 20 minutes. For evaluating the qualifications of a candidate for appointment to elective office per RCW 42.30.1101H for a period of 20 minutes, and we have no action to follow. It is 6:34. Thank you.
Just curious.
And we will be going into the other room for
All
that.
right.
Not to be back here.
You do not.